Okay, I want us to look at one thing that always look maybe confusing small in the Bible. If you read, let us read here, John chapter number uh, Matthew 12. Let us read Matthew 12:40 before, so that we will understand what I'm trying to say. Matthew chapter 12, verses 40. Okay, it reads this way: For as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. Have you seen? Jonah, Matthew chapter 12, verses 40. Jesus was speaking to his disciples. He was speaking to the people. He said, what? Jonah was in the belly of the fish. If you remember Prophet Jonah, the prophet that God sent to Nineveh to go and preach, and he was dodging, running to Spain. He was running to Spain. He thought that is the farthest place that he thought God is not in Spain. That's the modern name, the Tarshish. That's the modern name. Tarshish is Spain. So if you go and tell Spain that, oh, God is not in your nation, you see, they think that Spain is far, so God is not there. So he was running to Spain, and God allowed fish to swallow him. We won't go into details, but we'll know the story. What happened to Jonah? If we don't know what happened to Jonah, if you go, you ask Uncle Jonah what happened to him. Good. So it says that as Jonah was in the belly of the fish for 3 days and then 3 nights, the same thing that Jesus, he will also be in the heart of the earth, 3 days and then 3 nights. Good. And what I said it looked some small confusing is that, you know, every year we celebrate Easter, and mostly we always have a day that we call Good Friday, and we always say that is the day that Jesus Christ was crucified. He was crucified and buried, because the day that he was crucified was the same day that he was buried. So now, if we say he was crucified on Friday, that is where the problem comes. Now look at it. Friday, let us count the days. Friday is day 1, Saturday day 2. But remember that the Sunday, he resurrected early, even before the day break. So the Sunday is not part. So the Sunday is not even part. So you see that the days are two, the Friday and then the Saturday. But the Sunday, the day itself, the day, I'm talking of the day is, the night was there, but I'm talking of the day. You know, every complete day, the 24 hours, we have 12 in the night and we have 12 in the day. So the Sunday that I'm talking about, the Sunday itself, the 12 in the night was part. But the 12th daytime wasn't part, because he resurrected before the day break. So the day hours wasn't part. So if you look at the day hours, there were only 2 days. That is the Saturday and then the Friday. The day that he was crucified, and then the following day, the Sabbath day. So you see that here Jonah will have problem. Even the nights, if you're also going to look at the nights, it will be the same thing. The nights will be Friday night and Saturday night. 2 nights. Where is the third night? So you see that that place and Matthew 12:40 will have problem. Have you seen it? So if you look at it, actually, Christ was not crucified on Friday. It was not on Friday. Good. Uh, it was Thursday. It was Thursday. So what happened was that, every year they were preparing for what? They were preparing for a Passover festival, a feast. I think if you haven't listened to that tape, the eight feast, I saw the ninth feast, those that the seven that were prescribed by God, and the other two that were added later by the Jews themselves. You can listen to it and how it was. Good. So it was time for them to celebrate Passover, and when they appear there, the Bible says what? Every year they must appear 3 times. They must go to Jerusalem 3 times and celebrate the seven feast. So the first appearance, they will celebrate three feasts, three, and then the second appearance they will celebrate one, and then the third appearance they will celebrate the last three. So this appearance that they went there, it was time for them to celebrate three feasts that was consecutively, just in a week stretch. That is the Passover, the unleavened bread, and then the first fruits. So the Passover was first, followed by the unleavened bread, and then followed by the first fruits. Good. That is why they call Jesus what? The Passover lamb, because he was crucified on the Passover day, which was what? Thursday. I said it was Thursday. So let me even check the date here. The date that he was crucified. It was Nisan what Thursday. Or you can even you can even go and listen to that tape. The last day of Jesus, the Passion. The last week, sorry, and I said the last day, the Passion week. You can go there. So it was on Thursday that he was crucified, and that is 4th April. 4th April AD 30. And then Nisan, if you turn it to the other calendar, the Jews calendar, it is Nisan 14th. Nisan 14th AD 30. So you can go and listen to that tape, the Passion of Jesus Christ, or the Passion Week. You can listen to it. It will give more explanation. But this one we are going to look at this place. Why it looks like it doesn't correspond to the Bible. Good. So what we are saying is that he was crucified on the Thursday, and that was the day that the Passover was to take over. That was the Passover day. And the following day was Friday. And they said the Friday was going to be a holiday. And we know that in Israel, it was Saturday that was a Sabbath, but not Friday. But this Friday came and then it was a Sabbath. What was this a Sabbath? It was a Sabbath. So were they observing Fridays as Sabbath? No. The normal Sabbath was Saturday. But what happened is that I said they were going there to celebrate 3 feasts: Passover, unleavened bread, and the first fruits. So the Passover was the Thursday. They will celebrate it once. And the following day, starting the unleavened bread. The following day was the starting of the unleavened bread. And the unleavened bread, the first day of the unleavened bread festival, that one always take a week stretch. The first day of the unleavened bread is always a Sabbath. So they call it what? A special Shabbat. That's why the Friday was a Sabbath. So it means they will observe Friday as a Sabbath, and then the normal Sabbath on the Saturday will also come. So the day that Christ was, so that time they were going to observe 2 Sabbaths consecutively. The special Sabbath on the Friday, and then the normal Sabbath on the Saturday. Let us read here. We'll get to know what I'm trying to say. Leviticus chapter 23 verses 4. You see the first day of the, what do you call it? The unleavened bread. What they do, they always observe it as a Sabbath. They don't do anything. So when the Bible says that they were preparing, it was a day of preparation. It wasn't only the normal what do you call it? The normal Sabbath, the every day, the every Saturday Sabbath, but it was this special Sabbath. Let us read the 23 verses 4 through 8. We may not finish the 8, but let's read from the 4. Okay, now let's go to 7. On the first day, okay, let's start from the verse 4. These are the Lord's appointed feast and sacred assembly you are to proclaim at their appointed time. The Lord's Passover begins at twilight on the 14th day of the first month. On the 15th day of the month, the Lord's feast of the unleavened bread begins. So what do I say? So the 14th day will be the Passover, and the following day is the 15th, and that is the unleavened bread start. That's what it's saying. Leviticus 23 verses 4 through 8. So you see that these two events are just together. So they will celebrate the Passover one day, that is on the 14th, and the following day is just the beginning of the unleavened bread. Okay, let's continue. On the 15th day of the month, the Lord's feast of unleavened bread begins for 7 days. So that one will take 7 days, 1 week. Okay. You must eat bread made without yeast. Verse 7. On the first day, hold a sacred assembly and do no regular work. For 7 days, present an offering made to the Lord by fire. And the 7th day, hold a sacred assembly and do no work. Okay, let us read from the King James verse. I want us to read the last verse. Let us read the last verse from the King James version. Good. The verse 7. The verse 7, not the last rather. Let us read the verse 7 from the King James verse and see. I want us to look at something there. Okay, the verse 7 of Leviticus 23. It says this way. In the first day ye shall have a holy convocation. Ye shall do no several work therein. You see. So that day was a special. They call it what? a special Sabbath. It is not the regular Sabbath. So the Sabbath that they were saying that they were preparing, so they should go and break their legs for them to die early. It wasn't the normal Sabbath. It was the special Sabbath. So now let's look at it this way. We said he was crucified on Thursday. He Thursday. Now let us calculate. Good. Let us calculate. Thursday, the day, you get a day there. Friday, you get a day, 2 days, and then Saturday, you get a day. Have you seen? So 3 days. We're able to get the 3 days. We said this the Saturday. The Sunday. It was only the 9th that took part of his resurrection calendar, but the daytime was not, because the daytime he has already resurrected before the day break. So the daytime wasn't part. Good. Let's come to the 9th. When we come to the 9th, what do we have? The Thursday 9th, Friday 9th, and then the Saturday 9th. Are you getting it? How many nights? 3. So the following day early, then he has gone. The following day early, he has gone. So the Sunday has nothing to do with Christ's resurrection. So it was Thursday daytime, Friday daytime, and Saturday daytime. When it comes to the 9th, the same thing. Thursday 9th time, and then Friday 9th time, and then Saturday 9th. Why I am using this like this? You may be confused, because if you forget the days that the Hebrews, their day, not just Hebrew but the Bible day and our day is not the same thing. So I may mix them and you'll be confused. Like what happened was that in the Bible and then in the time of Israel, we always start our day in the middle of the ninth, 12th, and then it will go round and go and end ninth again. So you see, we start in the ninth, we come to the day, and we go and end it in the ninth, 12th again. But it wasn't so. The other tape, if you listen to it, you hear it. I told you that by then, what happened was that, like today is what? Friday. So Friday, and the time is 4 o'clock. This day, it will end at 6. And then the tomorrow that is coming, tomorrow will start today 6 o'clock. So their day will start ninth and run through, and then it will go to the day. So it will start, the ninth will start today. So so tomorrow's ninth is starting today. Today 6 o'clock till tomorrow 6 in the morning. That is tomorrow's ninth. And then the day will not set in 6 in the morning till 6 in the evening, and then the day will end. So today, Friday, like this, if we just get to 6 o'clock, Friday has ended. So if we go to 7, 7 is now tomorrow, Saturday. So if I say something like that, especially the Sunday, I said the Sunday, Jesus used part of the ninth. You may think that the next night, but I'm talking of the ninth before the Sunday, the day itself. So the ninth always comes before the day. That is how it was. So if I'm explaining it and you're not getting it, it is like that. You can go and listen to the other tape. That is where the much explanation is. I wrote it the biblical days, how it is. You can listen to that one. Good. So that is why if you look at it, it's like it doesn't, if you try to count it, it doesn't match. So our Good Friday that we always put it there, it is not exactly the Friday that he was crucified. That is why they did what? They said, let us break their legs so that they would do what? They will die early. Let us read here. I think it will be John. Let's read here. John 19:31, and then we go to 20 verse 1. John 20 verse 1. The first day of the week. Okay, we'll come to that. Let's read 19:31. So the 19:31, it says this way. The Jews, because it was preparation that the body should not remain upon the cross on the Sabbath, for that Sabbath day was an high day. Have you seen? Because Pilate, and it was what? An high day. It wasn't a normal day. That's why they said it was an high day. It wasn't just a normal Sabbath day. So they besought the Sabbath day. Okay, besought Pilate that their legs might be broken and that they might be taken away. So it was what? A high Sabbath. It wasn't just a normal Sabbath. That is why they were trying to break their legs. So if you look at it, there were 2 consecutive Sabbaths that were coming. The special Sabbath day, that is the beginning of the unleavened bread, the first day of the unleavened bread, that will take 1 week. And then the normal Sabbath day will also come. So they were preparing. That's why, before the Sabbath day, the Sabbath day, they don't even do anything. They will do their cooking, everything on the Friday. And then the following day, so they could used to call the Friday preparation day. But this time, the preparation day now, it was shifted to Thursday, because the Friday was a special Sabbath, and then the Saturday is the normal Sabbath. So if you look at it, truly Christ was crucified on it was on the Thursday. It wasn't Friday. So you see that anytime you take the Bible, you want to calculate, because of our Easter, you try to calculate our Easter, because we call it Good Friday, the day that he was crucified. You try to check the days. You always end up by not getting it exactly. So truly, that day is not the Friday that he was crucified, but it was Thursday. Good. So on the Thursday, so that he was crucified, so 3 days, and then he resurrected on the Sunday, and then the Sunday is the first day. You remember I said their day begins today. Let's say tomorrow will start today, 6 o'clock in the evening, 6 p.m. So if I said today is Saturday, today is Friday. So tomorrow, Saturday, will begin today, 6 o'clock. And Jesus rose the next morning, early. So it was early dawn on Sunday. So he was already on the Sunday. That's why they call it what? He is the first fruit, because that was the day that they will also celebrate the first fruit. If you remember, I mentioned 3 feasts. I said they always celebrate what? They will celebrate the Passover. After the Passover, they will celebrate the unleavened bread. After the unleavened bread, they will celebrate the first fruits. So the first fruits was coming on the Sunday, and it was that same Sunday that he resurrected. That's why in 1 Corinthians chapter number 15, verses 23, they called him the first fruit from the dead, people who died. He is the first person to resurrect. Forget of Lazarus and the rest. They were restored. If you haven't listened to that tape, go and listen to it. We have difference between restoration of life and resurrection of life. Those that were restored, they died again. But Jesus is having glorified body, and he cannot die again. That's why he is called the first fruit. But if you look at it, the Shunammite woman son, the widow from Nain, and there were a lot of people, Dorcas, so many people that resurrected in the Bible. They called them restoration. They restored. Their lives were restored. It came back, but the body was still, you see, burka burga body. So the body was still basa. That's why they died again. They don't call that one resurrection. It is restoration. Thank you. So that is why whenever you are trying to count the days, it's always like it doesn't match, because the Friday is not the actual day. Thank you for your time. So Christ was truly crucified on the Thursday. So you count it well. So Thursday, the day is there. You come to Friday, the day is there. Saturday, the day is also there. And then if you come to the night, the Thursday night is there. The Friday night is also there. And then the Saturday night is also there. So it is exactly 3 days and 3 nights that the Lord spent in the heart of the grave. But because of the special Sabbath that was coming, so when they say, because people always look at the preparation, no? When they say the preparation, they are preparing for the Sabbath. They thought that Sabbath was a normal Sabbath. That's why they just put the Good Friday there. But that Sabbath wasn't the normal Sabbath. It was the special Sabbath on the Friday Sabbath. So people think that because they said they were preparing, because they used to prepare on Friday, so they used to call Friday preparation day, because they know that the following day is Saturday. So because the Bible says that they were preparing for the Sabbath, so they thought it was Friday. That's why they quickly put there Good Friday, that he was crucified. But it wasn't that. They were not preparing for only that normal Sabbath. They were preparing for the special Sabbath, and then the normal Sabbath. So that preparation day came on the Thursday, so that they were able to prepare and face the two Sabbaths. So they were to observe two Sabbaths. It is not only the time that they were to crucify Jesus that they were doing it that way, but every year, whenever they go, those two Sabbaths, they will come together. They will come together because it was a fixed date. So if I'm not saying that they must come together, because it is a fixed date. And if the date comes and fall between Friday, definitely the following day will be a Sabbath, so they will come together. But if the date doesn't fall on the Friday, it means uh, it won't match like that. It won't go like that. It's just like our Christmas. We know that every 25th is Christmas, but does it always fall on Saturday on Sunday? It doesn't fall on only one day. It falls on different days. So if they are what special Sabbath falls on the Friday, that means they have to observe two Sabbaths consecutively. But if it doesn't fall on the Friday, then they will observe that one differently, and then they will also observe the other one differently. So that means that week they will observe two Sabbaths. Instead of one Sabbath, they will observe two Sabbaths. Thank you for your time.